Technologies are an ever-changing aspect of this day and age. The new gadgets and ideas are always trying to simplify life and bring people closer together. Communication and the way that individuals interact with each other is a huge dynamic of sociology. As a result, the cell phone and mobile devices are changing the way in which all this interaction occurs, which makes it a sociologically relevant event. The following presentation will explore just how cell phones and mobile devices have influenced and impacted social interactions and interpersonal relationships. More specifically, three theories or areas will be discussed. The first being how cell phones and mobile devices change the concept of social space and time among social relationships and interactions. Secondly, is to kind of explore the idea of cell phone dependency. And thirdly is to look at text messaging as a social interaction. Part of the reason why I decided to select this topic is it's pretty relevant as we just interact with society on a daily basis, as we go outdoors and we see and we walk around in our supermarkets or at restaurants, and everywhere you look you see somebody with an iPod or a cell phone constantly engaged in what they're doing, and it's kind of prompted me to explore this a little bit more and basically get into the first area of this. The first way that cellular phones and mobile devices are impacting social interaction is it's changing the concept of social space and time among social relationships and interaction. And within this, there's kind of two dynamics going on. The first one is, I guess, to start off, social interaction signifies that we are aware of the existence of others, as well as implies active engagement between two or more parties. So cell phones have allowed individuals to surpass time and space and essentially have allowed people to have any conversation that they choose wherever they choose it. So for example, with public conversation comes public invasion. I mean that people who are talking in public with their cell phones are invading into others' personal spaces by talking out loud about your own personal spaces, and essentially coming off as inconsiderate and or rude, which kind of in essence links to alienation of oneself. Secondly, a trend that is becoming more apparent is present absences. This is a concept of how an individual's presence in a social setting changes regardless of their physical presence. They are only half present. So for example, after a ring or a buzz of the cell phone, the person is drawn away somewhere else, away from their present situation and or conversation. And through observation, researchers have found that individuals typically will not hesitate to interrupt an ongoing conversation to answer the ringing of their cell phone. And the byproduct is it has several repercussions. In answering the ringing cell phone, the individual who is presently being conversed with has described feelings of a sense of being left alone, which can cause social anxiety, as well as resentment and annoyance towards the individual who answered the phone call. And next I'll kind of go into the next basically way that mobile devices and cell phones are impacting social interaction. The second way that cell phones and mobile devices are impacting social interaction is this idea of cell phone dependency. And even though cell phones have become less of a status symbol and more of a fashion statement, they have also kind of created this unspoken social dependency, which is categorized in three different ways. The first one is this idea of leisure boredom, and basically this category describes individuals who are found to use their cell phone when they're bored with their current situation, and this particular individual engages in text messaging, just making random phone calls, accessing the internet from their phone, or even playing mobile devices, which have has also become very popular with cell phones and even things like iPods. The higher the rate of this leisurely boredom, as it's called, it's basically translates into the more frequent use of a cell phone. The second category, called sensation-seeking behavior, describes individuals who seek entertainment to avoid boredom. And basically what this results in is individuals who use the cell phone at inappropriate and appropriate times in order to satisfy a social urge or want or need. This category of individuals shows that cell phone is more for entertainment, information, and social networking versus practical uses such as being stranded on the side of the road for in a car breakdown and calling an emergency contact or AAA. Third category is self-esteem. This is one's actually quite interesting because here the thought is that individuals who have low self-esteem will actually use their cell phone more to try to establish social networks and build relationships without having all the pressures of face-to-face interactions with individuals. And they also use it to try to reach out to other individuals. And essentially what the thought here is that this makes it easier for the individuals with lower self-esteem to form and maintain social relationships, and at the same time gives them the feeling like they are gaining control in their social relationships. In addition to the kind of the categories and dynamics just described, a lot of the individuals, and I think a large majority of them being youth adolescents, find it very, very hard to imagine not having their cell phones with them on a daily basis, and this is basically the result of forming an attachment, which makes them think that they can't function without their cell phones on a day-to-day basis, which I think longer term is a little bit worrisome. And I think so. The next piece we're going to go into, and the third and final way that cell phones and mobile devices impact social interaction, is text messaging.